Thank you very much for joining us. We are live, and I believe we are. It looks like we are live. I'm here with Jeannette Meier, Ph.D., an amazing lady. If you've watched one of my other videos, I met Kevin Monroe about 2 weeks ago, and we just kind of were kindred spirits. This young lady is the same. I've probably known her just as long as I've known Kevin, a couple of weeks, but it feels like we're old souls, really connecting on this space. So Jeannette has an amazing story and an amazing background. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and the outcome here is that people get some value out of this for the managers who lead, and I'm sure we're going to cover some topics that are really going to be insightful for our audience. So, Jeannette, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm so happy to be here and honored. Thanks so much. Well, I'm Jeannette Meier, and I'm a global person. I'm from the earth, let's say, because I lived in so many places and grew up in many places, and I have worked in several countries and different cultures. And yes, and managing wise, today I manage a team, 32 people, and I started managing already in 98, I think, when I started to work in SAP consulting.
Wow.
And since then I've been going around the world, and I was a consultant, but also at the beginning already managing people. So, and one thing I always remember, and that's who I am today, is the fact that my first manager, he always was looking for us before any project, so that we really were a team, and we really were happy with what we were doing, even if we were working so many hours. We even worked on the weekends, but we did it so happily because we were tied together, and we were partying, and we were helping each other. So I think that always stayed with me, no? The motivation, no? For you to lead, always motivating, because if you have someone motivated, you have someone committed and someone happy, no? So yes, many years already has passed, but here I am.
Wow. so you were seeing that in the manager that managed you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I learned from him.
And your roles and your experience has brought you, like you said, you lived globally, and you currently manage a team. You have a team of
Yes,
SAP.
I'm a partner in a company, and I grew as a partner because of managing the team. I was employed about 6 years ago to open a business unit, international business unit. So we started with the first project, and I always believe in people, not the people that are behind anything, any organization, any project, and for me those are the most important. So since then I've built a team, now 32 people.
Wow.
And we work not for Spain only, we work also for projects outside now, in Germany and Switzerland, UK, and so on. And yes, so yes, I'm responsible for them and for the growth and for the business unit.
Yeah. And the $1 million question: are you happy in your role as a manager, as a leader?
Yes, I'm very happy, because I always say that for me, you have to lead in the way that's the way what you want to see, no? And for me, a leader is first a self-leader, and is a leader that is, for me, not only a leader, but for me to living is being who I am. So I am who I am, personal and professional. If not, I'm not talking my walk, or I'm not walking my talk.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm very happy with what I do. It nurtures me, and I get nurtured by everyone. No, and how can you lead someone else if you are not able to lead yourself? No, it takes time, and it's not that today I'm leading because I always knew how to do that. It's just that I've learned to love myself, to value myself, and then through that to be able to lead other ones through my own leadership. What I'm really saying is that for me it's very important to know yourself, no, before being able to support and coach and lead other people. So it has been a journey. It's never an easy journey, but it's a journey of awareness also, of seeing how you're doing, observing how you're doing, observing how you are leading, how you are impacting others, and always be the best version of yourself. So I'm very happy. And I hope you can find also your happiness in the work you do, because we are the work. We spend so many hours at work that it's important to be who we are. And
Talking about being two different people, you know, when you're at work versus at outside your life, and if there's a conflict or there's a incongruence between those two, then that's a place for stress, and there's probably that burnout creeps in. You know, so busy being one type at work, and then you can't switch to being a different type at home, or you carry that persona over to your family or your social or your health, and you end up with a situation where you're not whole. So the
no,
question seemed kind of easy. Are you happy in your role? But I think a lot of people nowadays are having to ask that hard question. So appreciate you.
yes.
And what does it mean to be in that level of integrity? I think the answer, I already know the answer knowing you, but I just, for people who are listening, what does it mean to be from that place of integrity where you're happy in your role?
Well, it's at the end, it's really showing yourself, no, as in your wholeness, like you were saying before, no, in your wholeness, and knowing when to say no, knowing when to say yes, and knowing or observing how it's going to affect you when you say no, when it should be yes, and the other way around. And integrity is really, well, self-leadership at the end also. It's really knowing when to step or not to step, or when to go back or move to the right or to the left, no? Because you know how it's going to affect you and the people you're leading. So being in integrity is not only, in this case, not only, well, or always, let's say, not always for yourself, also for the others. Well, I have people from everywhere, from many places and different backgrounds. No, in Spain, and many are also from South America. Or I had people from Hungary also, besides Spanish people. I mean, Polish. Also from Bulgaria. So it's a mix. It's a beautiful mix. and it's beautiful, no? At the end, what it is for me to know who they are and how what they are ambitioning for themselves, what they like or what they don't like, and to support them in their growth. So it really, I coach them. Well, I don't coach them. What I say, I sit with them every 2 weeks at least, half an hour. Mostly more times during the weeks, but I sit down with them and I see where they are, what they are feeling, what's happening, what's their concerns, their fears, and where they would like to go. So I help them out to find their way in what they do, and in their yes, in what they envision, no? So that they are happy. And everyone has different ways. Everyone has a different path, and it's
Right.
beautiful for me, it's very beautiful to be able to support them, each of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And um, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is feeling the envy of your of your role. I mean, you have a beautiful disposition, you know, in terms of having someone on the call who is a leader of a global team. You've got culture, you've got language, you've got distance, you've got time zones, you've got getting work done through remote people. Mm-hmm. You've got so many aspects that could make leading a team so difficult. Mm. And yet, you know, you make it look so easy. I have to say. Is it that easy?
No. I actually, I have them, well, they're working from home. We just see ourselves once a week, some of them, okay? And for me, it was a change, no? Because before we many of us were working before COVID. Everyone was working in the office, no? At least 4 days a week. And then COVID came, no? The lockdowns. Yeah. And I had a team that suddenly were spread out in their homes.
Wow.
And there I learned a lot because what I did, I talked to everyone almost, I don't know, during the week many times to see how they were feeling, because they were very nervous, and then all of us got suddenly split, no? So I learned, well, I reinforced the following up of each of them, no? The sitting, the calling, and the being there for them. And once a week always, and we continue now also, once a week always a team meeting where we all are there and we share, and I use sometimes some pictures to open their minds, and I just ask, how do you feel? Read it from the picture, and then from there they invent something, but I'm able to read them.
Yes.
But yes, it has been a change, and now, yes, I can just continue even if we see each other once a week. But it's important for me. The important thing is really the following up and the clear communication, transparent communication, honest communication, humble communication, no? Open-hearted communication, being vulnerable, no? Showing yourself as who you are, and letting them also show themselves, no? Many times they come from other projects or other companies, and they're not used to allow themselves to make a joke, even like that. No, they're like, I have to be stiff. No, don't be stiff. Here you are. Show yourself, because we love the way you are, and we learn from you when you show your uniqueness.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And you're it's an IT profession which traditionally has that. I've got to be seen to be expert. I recently did a podcast around impression management, and we're all involved in that, because it's our impressions that communicate with each other. Yeah. The impression I'm giving you is talking to the impression you're giving me. Yes. And in certain scenarios, we want to manage how we are perceived. So if you want to be the expert in IT, you might have that impression that you have to be a particular way. And if that's not who you are, I'm not saying you should lie, but if that's not who you are, then stifling who you are becomes a stressor, because
Yes.
you can't be authentic, or you can't be vulnerable or real,
No.
because you're carrying this impression that you think you have to keep. So that's very interesting.
Yes.
In our space, certainly in my space, with regards to coaching, there is a maybe a mindset around, being open to be coached as a manager. Trained is one thing, especially in a knowledge profession. Training is understood to be the way to progress. But coaching kind of can come across as something that is remedial rather than performative. And so they will think that I'm being coached because I've done something wrong or I need fixing.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, some of the things you just mentioned in terms of those qualities, being vulnerable, being real, being authentic, being yourself, trusting that it's okay, and as you said, talking through your team through COVID, making sure that they are safe,
Yes.
not only physically but psychologically, which is
Yes.
in some ways as important, if not more important. You're protected from the virus by being inside, but then you're climbing the walls because there's dynamics in your work, in your family, and that plays a big part in your health. So all that to say, it sounds like, without putting words into your mouth, but it sounds like the way you present yourself to your team, like you said, you lead the way, you lead in the way that you would want to be led. And you share yourself so that your team can be genuine with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's powerful. For people who are listening and watching, in terms of what would you say if somebody came to your organization or came to you, for example, and said, there is an opportunity to grow in these quote unquote soft skills in terms of truly engaging and connecting with a team to be so that you can empower them, not just to be not just to be performative, but actually to be sustainable. They're happier, healthier, they stay longer. Knowing the challenges to do that, what would your take be on someone presenting coaching to an organization? And I think you've got a story about how your feedback was when you joined, and
Yes.
love to hear that story.
Yes. Well, yes. When I joined the company, they were thinking of me as someone to build the business unit, and someone that they could use for project management. No? And I told them, well, I don't do project management. So many years ago, so much time. What I do is really, what I like is really to lead people and to grow them and to be in relationship with them and with my clients, the clients of my team. And they said, no. And so I did some project management, but on the side I continued. I just said that's my way of being. So I continue with what I think and what I am. So 1 year later, when I had my appraisal, my boss, one of the bosses said, Jeannette, thank you so much for what you're doing. And I said, yes. We didn't know we needed that. We didn't know this exists, and it's really very good. It's very positive for the company. It's very positive for your team, but it's very positive also for us because we are seeing that people need that. And we never thought of a post like this. So that's also something I learned, because through that I valued myself. No, because I continued, even as they were saying, no, no, you just do project manage and that's it. But no, in integrity, I continued to really say, no, no, I am like this and I won't change. I will do this. And value what I was doing for myself, because I was able then to say, no, no, I will do it this way. And they were saying, no, maybe no, 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 I will do it. And you will see, no? And at the end, the year after, they were saying, okay, Jeannette, thank you so much. Thank you so much, because we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I love that, and for my
I love that too. And the story doesn't get old, and the message behind it is so powerful that it took somebody coming in and being bold enough to be themselves in a role, to show the organization the value that they can bring by being that way.
Yes.
Like you said a number of times, it's a way of being, it's not a way of doing.
No.
And that resonates strongly because, again, in knowledge work, we have a challenge. I believe we have a challenge in knowledge work. I mean, my background's in IT decades. And when I started, technology was very, very manual. I changed circuit boards. I had a soldering iron. I had a fluke meter. I had an oscilloscope when I was engineering. And nowadays it's very much sort of conceptual work. So the tangibility of the work has gone out of it. And, that's an important part of working, because now you're not sure what you're creating because it's very out there, it's cloud and it's not something you can sort of touch. And to that end, you can sometimes question what you're doing, and not really informing who you're becoming, who you're being in your role. And when you start making your business a people to people business as opposed to a business to consumer or business to business, then you can bring some of that energy back in.
Yes.
And it speaks volumes in terms of what you can do. And for owners and leaders and C-level, it affects the bottom line. I mean, your boss in your review saying thank you. They're not just thanking you for you producing and meeting your objectives. You did the project management as you were instructed to do, and that's fine. You're not doing something counter to the business. But then you bring so much more, and you bring yourself, which is a testimony to not just what you did, but they are recognizing who you are.
Yes, yes.
And that's massive. I've been blessed to work with leaders and managers that recognize who I am in a review, and not just what I do. And it makes a very big difference.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, and for me, everything, the doing comes from the being, in everything. In every relationship or in everything we do, the doing comes from the being. Yeah,
absolutely. So what else in your life ignites you? I know you have some projects and some passions.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Well, I'm. I always say. Well, I was saying, no, I'm a socially conscious leader because socially aware of what's happening around, and conscious, of an observation of my inside and outside world. And so I have a leadership circle for the New Earth, which for now it's a digest, but it's about being your own guru. So being this for me means really being love, uniqueness, and co-creation.
Wow.
So, and that also comes because I have a movement that is called the Positive Impact Movement, and which I had a community during COVID also, and in which we were learning of really being, no, being, having conversations, being in the heart, talking heart to heart, being present all the time. And that's what I use at the end in my day-to-day work. I am present in every moment in time.
Yeah.
I'm present when I am with my team members. One of them one day asked me, Jeannette, how can you remember what every one of us tells you? No? And I said, I remember because I feel it, I integrate it, because I'm here with you at that moment. It's not my mind that it's remember. No, it's because I'm here, I'm present, I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
You are telling me things, I'm integrating them. Not in my mind, I'm integrating them. So I'm able to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. That's now, I mean, for the audience here, that's a superpower right there. It's not a tactic or a technique. It's really an application of really empathic, active listening where you are connected, even through Zoom. This, you know, Jeannette, we've not met in person, and you're the kind of person that I can't wait to meet in person.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But there's an energy because there's an attentiveness, and that is something that if you can only remember what you store, and you can only store what you are paying attention to. And as you said, if you're with your team and you're paying them, you're giving them that attention, then what they're telling you is going to stick.
Yes.
It's not a matter of it being you're multitasking, you're trying to remember a dozen things while they're talking to you in your ear. And you say, are you hearing me? Are you listening? That dynamic doesn't work. Multitasking, no, don't get me on that subject, but it's the enemy of attention.
Yeah.
And any enemy of attention is going to impact how you remember.
Yeah. And its attention it comes from the living. So I'm here with you, I'm connecting with you, I'm living the moment with you. So the other thing that passionates me, going back to the other question, is the podcasting, the co-creation of conversations, which I had one with you.
Yes.
And I have it now with you, because it's this heart-to-heart connection. And like you were saying, it doesn't matter if you are in the other side, somewhere else in the world, in the other side of this video, because for me, you are sitting next to me. I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm here with you, co-creating a conversation, heart to heart, whatever it is. And I love that.
Fantastic. Even with the technical issues of uploading and downloading, but
no, here I am.
And that's it. That's powerful too. I mean, again, another superpower is that if you have the intention to pay attention, then there are less things that can get in the way of that. If you've got the intention. I can get so hung up on how this is looking, presenting now, whether I've got enough bandwidth, and get caught up in if I've got enough applications running and how I look and all this stuff. But really all of that falls to the side if I can get if we make the intention of connecting. And co-creating is beautiful because it's not, I think you described it, it's not collaboration. I'll let you say it.
Yes, for me there's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference in collaboration and co-creation. Because collaboration comes from the doing. Collaboration, it's because you agreed on an outcome. So your mind already has defined where you're going, no? And together. But you define the result. Co-creation comes from the being. Co-creation comes from being together, being together in wholeness, giving and receiving, and co-creating something that you don't know what's the outcome. And it's always so beautiful because you are not limiting yourself with the outcome. You are just flowing in the now, in the attention, in the intention, and something beautiful always comes out of it, because you're not putting your mind in the middle saying, I have to have this outcome. No, the outcome doesn't matter. It's the co-creation that matters. So it's the walking that matters. It's the listening, the giving and receiving that matters. And that we do everywhere. For me, co-creation, when I'm sitting with my team or with any of them, I'm co-creating. I'm co-creating their growth. They are co-creating my nurturing. I'm nurturing them. We are co-creating the business unit. We are co-creating their work for the client, because I'm putting everything of myself in their well-being, in their growth, and they are giving me what they are.
Yeah.
So it's co-creation. Co-creation happens everywhere when we are in the present and in the heart.
Wow. And you brought up something that I can totally resonate with and understand, because we've had a similar discussion before, and we're having this co-creation discussion now. And my skeptical brain, my old manager brain kicked in and said, that sounds like too much vulnerability. You're saying I have to give my whole self. I may not be ready to do that. So speak to a manager that is hearing what you're saying and going, well, it's a bit new age, or it's a little bit
hippie.
What's, it can't really work that way. What would you say to that manager?
That's the way it works, because your relationships is everything in life. So a relationship cannot exist if you are not open, if you are not honest, if you are not humble, if you are not transparent. So when you are sitting there vulnerable, which for vulnerability, I replace the word as open-hearted. No, vulnerability has, marketing-wise, has a good and a bad connotation. True. And the reality is being open-hearted. When you are open-hearted, when you are transparent, when you are who you are and you express what you feel to the other person, also if you're telling them what to do, you say, I'm sorry, you have to do this, I will support you. That's being open-hearted.
Yes.
So what you do, you empower and you motivate and you inspire and you give them your support, because you are being you. So there's nothing bad about doing that. It's not that you are losing yourself, your authority. It's the other way around. You are really showing them that you are leading them.
We are just for total clarity here and transparency. We are really co-creating here.
Yes.
Because there might have been a thread in terms of this discussion, and it's all in the context of managers who lead. And at the same time, this co-creating space that we're in right now is really opening up some thoughts for me in terms of that question of vulnerability. Someone sort of, saying it's a little bit hippie, and turning the word from vulnerability to open-heartedness.
Yes.
And when you did that, it made me think of the word courage, which the root of the word courage comes from heart, cœur.
Yes.
And that is, we don't mind being courageous, because that can feel like an A-type personality, where you a courageous leader. But that courage also has to mean that you are empathetic. You actually, not necessarily wear your heart on the sleeve. That can be oversharing or just not really productive. But you want to come from a place where you are true. And if people see your heart, then they may be willing to share their heart, and then you enter into a space where you are more creative about a solution.
Yes.
And I'll carry on that thread a little bit. In IT, we have words that focus on problems rather than solutions. And an open-hearted mindset is solution-focused rather than a focused mindset is problem-centered. We call it problem-solving. We call it troubleshooting for a reason. We go in looking for problems as opposed to coming from a place where you're looking for creativity. And in the creativity, you often find the solution. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. And creativity comes through allowing yourself to really flow. No, so that it's not from here only. Creativity
Yes.
comes from, and I remember it's not easy because I remember some years ago I was daring to be who I am. That was the way I was telling, dare to be who you are, because I know at the beginning there is angst, no, there is fear on showing yourself, because you've been told so many times from school, from parents, from everyone, don't show up like this because of this and this. So you're always thinking, if I say this, how will it impact? But
Yes.
the beauty is when you start exploring, experiencing, and practicing to really be open-hearted and express yourself, you see nothing wrong happens. It's beautiful. The creation is exponential. And the impact you're having over people around you, including your team, is exponential. They start opening up. The team gets together. They love what they do. And everyone grows.
Yes.
So I started with daring to be who I am, and today I say I am who I am, and I say it happily and clearly, because I am who I am, and I'm happy to be who I am. No,
Yeah.
but before it was daring, because I had to go through these testings and seeing what happens, observing, and then I realizing, wow, nothing happened. It's beautiful. Nothing, when you are open-hearted, nothing wrong, or nothing is wrong, nothing is right, no? Because you are. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great place. That's a great place to be. And it's not beyond anyone's reach. Is what I'm hearing. This is not some special personality trait or something in your genes or even something in your upbringing that is just sort of talent. You know, we always kind of give someone a special gift when we feel like we can't do it ourselves. And in this interaction, in this co-creative space today, nothing's been said that cannot be realized in anyone that's listening to this to this discussion, because it's not a matter of someone was privileged or someone had some foot up or advantage. It really is a matter of, I think it's an inside journey. I think that's really where the work starts. It's recognizing that in a world that wants to see things done, you can easily fall into the doing trap.
Yes.
And then you're doing without recognizing who you're becoming in that doing. And if they don't align, then you're out of alignment, illness, stress, burnout,
and I've been there.
disillusionment. What was that?
I've been there.
Oh, talk to us a little bit.
Yes, first of all, I was always very shy and everything during my younger years, and I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I was living for everyone else, but not for me. And one day I woke up. That's already 19 years ago. And one day I woke up and said, I want to love myself.
Wow.
So I changed my life and I came here to Spain, to Barcelona. I was in New York, and started loving myself in the way that really listening and starting learning about myself, because I was living always for everyone else. So I was much in fear before that, no? Fear to be alone, fear of many, many things. So because I was living for everyone else. And then I started here, well, learning and recognizing and doing the things I liked, and slowly I learned afterwards to value myself. It took me many years. After loving myself, it took me many years to value myself. And it came through, well, I had a social enterprise, so through that I lost a lot of money because I just listened to others, what they were telling for me to do, and not me thinking, oh, should I or shouldn't I do? So I invested and I lost a lot, the savings. And so, but it was a very good, those were like the triggers to, Jeannette, value yourself. Jeannette, value yourself. You're losing everything because you're not valuing yourself. Until I learned to value myself, no? And then another thing is to value yourself, and then to show yourself to the world. I was frightened of videos. So I started doing a vlog, and the vlog, I was pushing myself for a vlog, and I did the vlog, and at the beginning I was, what do I going to say? No, I didn't do many, but I learned to be on camera and by myself, no? And then in everything it's just what I say in life, everything is about exploration, experiencing, and practicing. And every time challenging you a little bit more and seeing how you're reacting and acting or responding. So I've learned, and I'm still have much more to learn, but it's not that I was born like this. Everyone, like you were saying, Steve, everyone can do this. Everyone can learn to be open-hearted. And when you experience that, you never go back, because you know it's who you are, and you know that you positively impact anyone. At least that's intention, no? By being open-hearted, that this happens.
Wow, I was struggling to get a pen, and I've got my notebook here, because there's if I look away, it's because I'm there's so many nuggets here, and really I hope people can get past the veneer of skepticism. Sometimes when you hear discussions that go to a connection or a heart space, and you think, oh, where's this going to go? But there's something that you said there, like you said, you've been there and you've gone through this journey, and losing yourself, it was also got a line to losing money, So there's often some sort of financial or situational loss when we lose ourselves. And then you said you had to go through these things because they were triggers to find yourself. And when you said that, the thing that popped into my head was that if you value yourself, you'll never be poor. Because that's where you found your riches, if you like, because you found that value.
Yes.
And then what that does is, when you value yourself and then you show that value, whether it's vlogging or just showing up with a social enterprise, when you show that value, you become valuable to others.
Yes.
And then often the riches or the sustainability of that value comes back. And it's a journey. I'm on that journey. I think we're all on that journey at various levels, where we're doubting ourselves. We're wondering if we can, how we can perceive value or add value to a business, if you're in your own business, or to your team, or to the organization that you're working for. And I think one of the keys is to take a pause and look inside and assess your own value to yourself.
Yes.
And then articulate that to those around you, and encourage them to do the same, because then you'll see value in others. You're the kind of manager that I'd love to work for, because if we were on the interview, I'd be like, this is great. I don't, is there any questions? I mean, well, no, like, when can I start? Provided you can do the job. There's always a caveat. You have to be able to do the job. But this has been beautiful.
Thank you.
I think I don't know what we've gone over time, but that's fine. We'll definitely share the unabridged version of this. I hope if you've listening and watching, you found value in this. I certainly have. It is always, always, always a pleasure to have an opportunity to talk, interact, and co-create with Jeannette Meier. And long may it continue. I'm very blessed.
Oh, thank you, Steve. The same. Heart-to-heart co-creations wherever we are. It's such a beautiful experience, and you are such a beautiful spirit. And really, thank you for allowing me to be here with you and with everyone else. Really, thank you.
That's great.
I hope, yes, it has served others.
Yes,
it has certainly served me. Thank you so much.
I'm sure that there's nuggets. I'll be picking them out and sharing them, and love to hear comments and feedback. Where can people reach you? I know we connected on LinkedIn. Where's the best way to reach you? Or we can have
LinkedIn is very good. Or I have my website, personal one is JeannetteMeier.com. Mm-hmm. Or I have PIMove.org. PIMove is PIMOV.org.
No, yes.
It's from the Positive Impact. Yeah.
Yes,
the Positive
absolutely.
Impact movement.
Great sites, great heart. You'll get to get an insight into what drives this amazing lady. So, thank you again, Jeannette. It's been absolutely a pleasure. And thank you all for listening and watching in. And we'll get this out in various media, and then we'll also have the links in the notes. All right, that's great. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. The same. Thank you so much.